What if your innermost essence has been scattering gentle clues throughout your entire existence? Quiet signals guiding you toward the fulfillment of your time on this earth. What if the circumstances you're experiencing right now, the shifts in how you perceive things, the changes in what truly matters to you, what if these are not merely random occurrences, but precise indications that your soul is preparing for its graduation from the Academy of Physical Being? Edgar Cayce, the revered prophet who found visions in sleep, whose insightful revelations have offered direction to countless individuals, did not just perceive people's past lives and health conditions. He observed something much more profound: the spiritual indicators that signal when a soul is approaching the culmination of its terrestrial instruction. And what might truly resonate with you is this: these signs do not relate to departure in the manner you might typically assume. They speak of spiritual fruition. They describe a soul that has assimilated the wisdom it sought, mended the aspects it came to heal, and bestowed the offerings it arrived to share. Certain spirits discern these indications and experience a deep sense of tranquility, yet others overlook them entirely, encountering a feeling of bewilderment, pondering the pervasive shifts around them. They question why former priorities have lost their resonance, and why they are now drawn to entirely different experiences than what once brought them contentment. However, a pivotal inquiry now arises, one that could reframe your entire understanding. Are these very indicators something you are sensing in your current moments? Have you perceived transformations within your internal landscape that defy easy explanation? Shifts in what elicits your delight, what occupies your worries, and what holds true significance? For if these experiences are indeed yours, rest assured, you are not adrift. Rather, you may be precisely discovering your true path. You could be nearing the profoundest transformation your spiritual essence is destined to undergo. Continue listening, as Edgar Cayce's insights into these 9 indicators will either bestow a deep tranquility concerning your current transformations or illuminate previously unseen recurring themes. Should you already sense an inner stirring as these words resonate with you, please share your thoughts below. Have you been experiencing shifts within yourself that defy easy explanation? If you feel prepared to delve into these profound mysteries alongside countless others on a similar path, then consider subscribing and activating your notifications. Together, we are uncovering truths that illuminate the deepest essence of human existence. Allow me now to guide you on a journey through the 9 sacred indications that your soul might be preparing for its ultimate earthly culmination. The great interior shift. This process begins with what Edgar Cayce referred to as the Great Turning. It signifies a deep reallocation of focus, moving from the outer world to the inner landscape of your spirit. Have you observed yourself becoming less captivated by things that once held your attention? Do career aspirations that formerly propelled you forward now seem strangely empty? Do social occasions you once relished now leave you feeling depleted rather than invigorated? This isn't a state of despondency, nor is it a surrender to life's challenges. Rather, it is the initial signal that your soul is nearing the completion of its earthly instruction. Envision this scene. Imagine you've dedicated many years to your university life, fully immersed in your academic pursuits, your connections with others, and mapping out what's to come. As your graduation draws near, you notice that the priorities which once dominated your academic journey begin to gently recede in importance. This isn't a sign of idleness or a loss of enthusiasm. Rather, you're shifting into a new stage of your being. As Cayce noted, spirits nearing their fulfillment instinctively start to pull back their focus from outward activities and channel it deeply within themselves. There's a growing desire to comprehend oneself rather than to gain external approval. A stronger pull towards intrinsic significance over accomplishments, and a deeper concentration on simply existing instead of constant action. This internal shift reveals itself through a multitude of subtle changes. Perhaps you'll discover a longing for quiet solitude that feels more profound than anything you've experienced previously. Extended solitary strolls seem to nurture you more deeply than bustling social gatherings once did. Peaceful nights spent at home now offer a greater sense of contentment than the kinds of entertainment that used to capture your attention. You may begin to perceive a shift, finding yourself more particular about where you direct your time and inner strength. Pursuits that fail to uplift your spirit can now feel like an unwise use of your valuable life essence. Individuals who generate discord or negativity might become increasingly difficult to engage with. This isn't a sign of growing judgment, but rather your soul's deep engagement in its spiritual journey, leaving little room for shallow worries. Yet, a more profound process is actually unfolding beneath the surface. Your soul is undertaking what Cayce referred to as the ultimate review. It is meticulously examining all the lessons absorbed, experiences gathered, and achievements made throughout this existence, discerning what still requires attention and what has reached completion. Such a deep process demands immense inner concentration. Your soul must withdraw from the constant external stimulation of daily life to carry out this profound spiritual accounting. This is precisely why the external world might suddenly seem less captivating, and why you are drawn to quietude, to natural environments, and to practices that encourage deep internal contemplation. Many individuals resist this natural inclination to withdraw, believing there's an issue with their current state. They push themselves to re-engage in pursuits that no longer feel meaningful, pondering why their perceptions have shifted so dramatically. However, Cayce's teachings revealed that opposing this inherent shift is akin to struggling against the current. Such resistance only generates needless difficulty. Should you find yourself undergoing this profound internal reorientation, rest assured, you're not growing aloof or diminishing your enthusiasm for existence. Instead, you're heeding a deep spiritual invitation to explore further within, to ready yourself for subsequent phases. This brings us to the second indicator, frequently associated with this internal shift, which has the potential to fundamentally alter your understanding of connections with other people. These are the ties that reach beyond the boundaries of time itself. The second phenomenon Cayce brought to light was something he termed recognition across the veil. It involves perceiving individuals in your world, not merely by their current outward form, but as the everlasting essences they truly embody. Lately, have you experienced a peculiar insight when gazing at those dear to you? An understanding that transcends your present connection. It's as if you are perceiving their true essence beyond the veneer of their earthly persona. This profound revelation often emerges in ways that are both exquisite and at times deeply moving. Perhaps you observe an elder parent, and unexpectedly, you no longer perceive them as merely the imperfect individual who brought you up, but rather as an age-old spirit who opted to express affection for you through the finite framework of human guardianship. All past grievances, every disappointment, and each unfulfilled hope suddenly appear insignificant next to the boundless affection that unites your spirits. You might discover yourself extending pardon to relatives for matters that have troubled you through many years. This is not due to a conscious effort to forgive, but rather because you gain a sudden, clear vision of the grander scheme, why these particular souls are present in your journey, and the mutual lessons you have been absorbing from one another. Alternatively, you might encounter instances of deep resonance with your partner, your children, or your most cherished companions. These are moments when it feels as though you gaze directly into their essence, perceiving an individual you've known throughout many existences. Cayce taught that as spirits draw nearer to their ultimate fulfillment, the barrier separating different incarnations begins to thin. At a soul-deep level, you commence recalling the more profound bonds you share with the significant individuals present in your life. You begin to understand that your relationships are not merely coincidental. Instead, they represent sacred pacts forged between spirits who have consistently fostered one another's development over numerous life cycles. This awakening elicits both immense affection and a deep sense of sorrow. Love, because at last you perceive the everlasting tie binding you to those who form your spiritual kin. Sadness, for you start to apprehend that your shared journey in corporeal existence might be nearing its conclusion. Yet, what is genuinely extraordinary concerning this particular indicator is this perspective often brings about restorative discussions and connections that once appeared unattainable. When you perceive an individual as an everlasting spirit, rather than merely their present disposition, you naturally approach them with increased understanding, greater patience, and an abundance of unconditional affection. You might discover yourself engaging in more profound conversations with people you've known for many years, revealing sentiments you've long kept private, expressing gratitude you've previously overlooked, finding reconciliation with estranged family members, and fortifying relationships with your children or parents in ways you never believed achievable. If you are beginning to recognize the souls around you with this deeper perception, if you feel sudden impulses to connect more genuinely with those you cherish, pay close attention. Your own spirit might be seeking to complete its bonds, to articulate the love and profound healing that needs to manifest before your earthly existence concludes. And this awareness of enduring connections frequently signals the arrival of the third indication. Cayce described this manifestation as one of the most exquisite facets of drawing near to spiritual wholeness. Like an unwritten symphony, its harmonies begin to coalesce. The third indication, referred to by Edgar Cayce as the profound process of healing, involves a swift quickening in mending past hurts, concluding lingering emotional affairs, and letting go of ingrained habits that have persisted for many years, perhaps even across multiple existences. Have you noticed unlooked-for improvements in aspects of your existence that once appeared unchangeable? Connections with others that unexpectedly flourish following long periods of disagreement, inner hurts that start to mend after many decades of suffering, or destructive habits or dependencies you finally find the resolve to overcome. These events are not mere chance occurrences. Instead, it is your very essence hastening to conclude its terrestrial lessons. Envision a scholar realizing they are on the cusp of graduation, but with several pending academic duties. They are then infused with a sudden surge of driven energy to finalize every detail, to neatly conclude outstanding matters, and to bring their initial undertakings to fruition. A comparable experience awaits your soul as it draws near the conclusion of its terrestrial journey. Cayce noted that spirits approaching this final phase frequently encounter what he termed swift karma, involving rapid chances to mend, grant forgiveness, and settle matters that would typically require many years to navigate. A family member with whom communication has ceased for years may unexpectedly make contact, opening a path for harmony. You could at last discover the resolve to engage in that challenging discussion you've postponed. Lingering grievances might naturally dissipate as you develop a fresh outlook on previous wounds. Alternatively, you may realize you are effortlessly letting go of connections to possessions or ideas that previously held great significance. The impulse to prevail in disagreements gently recedes. The yearning to direct results lessens. Feelings such as envy, irritation, and other burdensome sentiments begin to feel alien to your intrinsic self. This process of inner restoration frequently unfolds in gentle currents. You may find yourself experiencing profound emotional release, encountering all the feelings you previously held back, acknowledging sorrows you never fully processed, and letting go of long-held resentments. Afterwards, you may emerge feeling a profound lightness, clarity, and an inner peace deeper than you've ever known. For some, this stage also brings about a period of physical restoration. Chronic conditions, previously unexplained by doctors, might suddenly improve. Your vitality may increase, defying the years. Nights become more deeply restorative. The body appears to ready itself for a new phase, shedding accumulated trauma and lingering tension. However, the most profound mending often unfolds in your connection with yourself. Forgiving yourself, once beyond reach, now feels entirely natural. The self-love that felt unnatural transforms into genuine authenticity. You cease the internal struggle and begin to embrace the entirety of your path, recognizing value in every misstep and challenge that once caused such discomfort. Should you find such accelerated restoration occurring in your existence, if long-standing difficulties are now reaching a conclusion, it may signify your soul's preparation for completion. It is a process of tidying inner spaces, concluding unfinished matters, and finding harmony with the past, allowing for an unburdened journey forward. And as this renewal quickens its pace, another beautiful development begins to unfold. This is the fourth, unmistakable indication, as Cayce noted, for souls nearing their earthly culmination. If you observe these patterns emerging in your own life, I would truly appreciate hearing about it. Please share in the comments one specific area where you've recently encountered unexpected healing or a sense of resolution. When you acknowledge these transformations, it greatly assists our entire collective in recognizing the sacred essence of what you might be experiencing. And if your contribution demonstrates genuine spiritual insight, I will respond with a heart symbol, honoring your bravery in sharing. Yet, this restorative journey merely prepares the way for something even more deeply significant. This particular sign often catches people unawares, and it can bring either great solace or a feeling of unease, depending on how deeply one grasps its nature. These are the guests from the ethereal realm. Edgar Cayce's fourth identified manifestation is something that frequently astonishes those who do not anticipate it. Encounters with souls who have passed on. This involves a growing frequency of interactions with dear ones who have already transitioned. Have your dreams lately become more vibrant, featuring individuals who are no longer living? Are you perceiving the presence of family or companions who have departed in a manner that feels more tangible than mere fantasy? Are you experiencing what appear to be communications or signals from those who have transitioned to the other side? Rest assured, these experiences are not simply your mind creating illusions. As Edgar Cayce explained, when souls near their destined fulfillment, the boundary separating the material and spiritual dimensions attenuates for them. Their energetic vibration starts to elevate to a level where conversing with souls who have passed is not just achievable, but inherent. These encounters serve a variety of functions. Occasionally, those we've lost may come forward to offer solace and direction as you navigate the changing currents of your life. They could manifest in dreams to reassure you that moving on is nothing to dread, illustrating through their very presence that awareness endures beyond our physical form. Other times, these spirits return to resolve outstanding matters with you. A parent who departed before you had the chance to reconcile might visit to extend the forgiveness or understanding that was impossible during their lifetime. A companion who passed unexpectedly might arrive to deliver a message they never had the opportunity to convey. Yet, perhaps their most significant role is to acclimate you to the genuine nature of the spiritual realm. Your own essence is being slowly introduced to the dimension it will one day inhabit, making that eventual transition feel less strange and unsettling. These encounters might begin subtly. Perhaps a sudden fragrance that vividly brings your grandmother to remembrance. A song on the radio, heard precisely as you think of your departed spouse. A dream so vivid, you wake feeling you truly spent time with a loved one. As completion nears, these experiences often become more frequent and undeniable. You might wake with information previously unknown, comfort seemingly external, or distinct sense of guidance from someone who loves you deeply. Some resist these visitations, deeming them grief-induced hallucinations or mere wishful thinking. Cayce, however, taught that dismissing these experiences denies a most beautiful gift of spiritual completion, the chance for conscious contact with your soul family across dimensions. If you find increased contact with departed loved ones, heed what they're trying to communicate. Such encounters frequently convey insights concerning your purpose, a sense of calm regarding your journey, or wisdom for choices you confront. However, these visits also ready you for the fifth indication, described by Cayce as among the deepest transformations spirits undergo as they near their earthly completion. It is the timeless beckoning. This fifth manifestation is what Edgar Cayce termed the magnetic draw of higher dimensions. It manifests as a deepening feeling of longing for a place you've never consciously visited, not in your present existence at least. Have you sensed an unusual yearning that you cannot quite pinpoint? A feeling of not fully belonging to this world, even after spending your whole life within it? An intensifying pull towards sacred experiences, quiet reflection, sincere prayer, or divine contemplation? This is not avoidance or despair. This is your spirit beginning to recall its genuine origin. Cayce clarified that as spirits approach culmination, they commence vibrating at frequencies more aligned with spiritual planes than the physical realm. This cultivates a natural magnetic inclination towards elevated dimensions of existence. You start to find greater comfort in spiritual realms of awareness than within the sphere of everyday pursuits. You might dedicate increasing amounts of time to quiet contemplation, not driven by any specific goal, but rather because this mental state feels inherently more aligned than your usual waking activities. Prayer itself may evolve, moving beyond requests and becoming more about an intimate communion with sacred presence. The natural world often gains profound importance throughout this stage. You could sense a strong pull to spend extended periods observing evening skies, resting near bodies of water, or wandering through woodlands. These are not merely agreeable pastimes. Instead, they serve as profound encounters that aid your essence in aligning with the subtle frequencies of spiritual domains. Some individuals encounter what Cayce termed anticipatory glimpses, instances of heightened awareness offering a peek into the tranquility, affection, and wisdom inherent in loftier dimensions. Such experiences could surface during moments of deep meditation, sincere prayer, or peaceful introspection. These are not mere illusions or figments of imagination. Instead, they represent your inner spirit gently experiencing a taste of its ultimate destination. However, this compelling inclination toward the everlasting can introduce certain difficulties into your everyday existence. You may discover a diminished inclination for ordinary, everyday duties. Tasks that once held considerable significance could now appear rather insignificant. Engagements with others might begin to feel more like demands than enjoyable interactions. Therefore, comprehending the nature of this particular indication becomes exceptionally vital. Should you fail to identify this unfolding process, you might mistakenly conclude that there is a fundamental flaw within you. You could attempt to compel yourself to engage in activities that no longer align with your being, thereby fostering inner discord and a sense of bewilderment. Yet, if you come to grasp that this attraction to the infinite is an inherent aspect of your spiritual journey reaching its fullness, you can embrace it while conscientiously attending to your worldly duties. You can perceive it as a quiet preparation for your soul's subsequent journey, rather than interpreting it as a dismissal of your present existence. The vital aspect involves discovering equilibrium, permitting yourself to devote more moments to spiritual planes while conscientiously upholding your earthly presence with tenderness and accountability. This magnetic inclination towards elevated spheres frequently prompts the sixth indication, which Cayce declared was among the most exquisite transformations he observed in spirits drawing near their culmination. This describes a heart knowing no confines. Edgar Cayce designated the sixth manifestation as all-encompassing empathy, a deep broadening of your capability to love that reaches considerably beyond your immediate connections to embrace every living entity. Have you observed your heart unfolding in manners entirely unforeseen? That you experience profound sympathy for strangers, and that sorrow across the globe now impacts you with greater intensity than before? This phenomenon does not suggest an increase in undue sensitivity or emotional instability. Rather, it signifies your soul revealing its authentic essence as it readies for its journey back to domains of pure, boundless affection. Cayce observed that as souls draw nearer to their full realization, the distinctions separating them from others naturally begin to soften. You start to recognize a part of yourself in every person you encounter. The individual experiencing homelessness on the street is no longer perceived as an outsider. Instead, they are understood as a facet of universal awareness, navigating a challenging journey. That challenging colleague is not an adversary, but rather a spirit contending with their unique teachings and personal boundaries. This deepening sense of empathy frequently reveals itself through unforeseen actions. You could discover yourself contributing to benevolent organizations you hadn't previously supported, dedicating time to initiatives that were once outside your awareness, or feeling compelled to assist others in manners that even take you by surprise. Yet, this evolution isn't solely about aiding others. Your capacity for kindness also encompasses yourself. You may at last grant yourself forgiveness for prior errors, ceasing to evaluate yourself with such severity, and beginning to offer yourself the identical gentleness you've consistently aimed to bestow upon others. Furthermore, your empathy broadens to embrace every living thing, creatures, vegetation, and the planet itself. You might find yourself more attuned to your influence on the environment. A sense of sorrow could emerge regarding the plight of living creatures. You may discover a profound bond with the natural world, moving past mere intellectual thought to a truly felt presence. Initially, this expansive empathy might feel intense or difficult to manage. It's possible you'll perceive yourself as caring too deeply, feeling emotions too intensely, or being affected by suffering that doesn't directly touch your personal life. However, Cayce taught that this very experience signifies your soul remembering its authentic self. We are beings of pure affection, intrinsically linked to all awareness. The real task lies in cultivating this profound understanding without being swamped by it. It means nurturing deep concern while preserving inner peace. It involves assisting others while also ensuring your own well-being. It is about embracing boundless love while still respecting your human boundaries. As this comprehensive empathy grows, you often observe that your true purpose in life becomes remarkably clearer. You realize your presence isn't solely for personal growth, but to uplift and heal all consciousness. Your unique path joins a grander mission of love. Should you feel this rising compassion, trust it. Let your heart unfurl, even if it aches. Allow yourself to cherish what matters, even if others don't grasp why. Your soul shows its readiness to return to realms where love is the sole truth. This expanding love prepares the way for the seventh sign, which Cayce called one of the most mysterious and beautiful experiences souls near their earthly graduation. Insight arriving from an unknown source. The seventh sign is what Edgar Cayce named spontaneous knowing. Instant understanding, knowledge and wisdom, seemingly beyond your personal background or studies. Have you experienced moments of profound clarity regarding existence, personal connections, or spiritual truths, as if these revelations originate from a place beyond your ordinary awareness. Discovering an innate grasp of subjects you've never formally explored. Possessing an intuitive awareness of people or situations before any details are shared. This is neither mere fantasy nor happenstance. Instead, it represents your innermost self, connecting with the vast collective awareness of the universe, preparing for its journey back to dimensions where every piece of information resides. As Cayce elucidated, when souls near their destined fulfillment, their understanding starts to broaden, transcending the confines of individual understanding. They begin to access what he referred to as the Akashic Records, the cosmic repository of all wisdom and occurrences. This inherent insight might surface as an immediate grasp of spiritual notions that once appeared intricate or perplexing. You might find yourself articulating profound metaphysical principles with a lucidity and understanding that takes even you by surprise. Intricate philosophical or spiritual inquiries may suddenly present themselves with unmistakably clear resolutions. Alternatively, you could discover intuitive capabilities previously unknown to you, such as an awareness of an impending phone call, a feeling that significant events are on the horizon, or grasping the underlying reasons for people's actions and their true feelings, even without verbal cues. Occasionally, this innate understanding proves to be highly useful. You could experience sudden flashes of clarity regarding your well-being, personal connections, or crucial choices, which later turn out to be extraordinarily precise. Answers to challenges may simply materialize in your thoughts, free from strain or exertion. Yet, perhaps the most profound development could be what Cayce referred to as soul sight, the faculty of perceiving the spiritual truth veiled by outward physical forms. You interpret human conduct within the broader framework of their soul's progression, moving beyond mere surface personality traits. You perceive contemporary happenings through the lens of humanity's spiritual advancement, rather than solely through political or societal forces. Initially, this sudden comprehension might feel quite surprising. It's natural to wonder about the source of these insights, questioning their trustworthiness, and pondering what it signifies to suddenly grasp concepts you've never formally learned. Yet, Cayce taught that this simply represents your soul, recalling what it has always inherently known. As the divisions between your individual awareness and the boundless universal consciousness begin to fade, you naturally gain access to a wisdom shared by all spiritual beings. The vital skill is discerning between authentic spiritual guidance and purely mental conjecture. Genuine, unprompted knowing arrives with an unmistakable quality of certainty and deep inner peace. It doesn't provoke anxiety or confusion. Rather, it cultivates clarity and profound understanding. If you find yourself experiencing this particular kind of inner knowing, allow yourself to trust it. Start to gently observe the intuitive understandings that emerge within you. Carefully integrate them into your daily life. You may well discover that your soul holds access to guidance and a depth of wisdom that can profoundly reshape not only your own personal journey, but also amplify your capacity to offer support to others. This deepening understanding readies you for what is known as the eighth indicator, an aspect Cayce remarked was frequently the most demanding emotionally for spirits as they draw near their journey's end. It is where the ties that bind begin to gently unfasten. Edgar Cayce referred to this eighth manifestation as an innate sense of letting go. It involves a slow, effortless release of the connections you once held with individuals, material items, and future events that previously appeared fundamental to your well-being. Perhaps you've observed how matters that once held profound significance for you now appear less crucial, or that you find yourself less troubled by circumstances beyond your influence, embracing a deeper tranquility concerning life's transient essence. This shift does not signify a move towards indifference or lack of compassion. Instead, it represents your soul's inherent preparation for a significant transition, gently loosening the bonds that tie it to this earthly experience. Cayce noted that spirits drawing closer to their ultimate fulfillment start to embrace all aspects of life with a lighter touch. Their capacity for love remains profound, yet it is expressed with diminished possessiveness. They retain an interest in how things unfold but are not overcome by distress when events deviate from their expectations. They experience enjoyment from their worldly possessions, yet their sense of self or security is not derived from merely owning them. This very characteristic of non-attachment frequently causes bewilderment among family and acquaintances, who often perceive it as a form of withdrawal or even sadness, when in truth, it is quite the opposite. It serves as an indication of spiritual growth and a deep inherent sense of liberation. You might observe yourself naturally simplifying your existence, releasing items that no longer serve a meaningful purpose, and gently letting go of connections that are founded on obligation rather than genuine resonance. This also extends to relinquishing objectives and aspirations that sprang from ego rather than from a singular, heartfelt purpose. However, the most profound form of detachment often involves surrendering the need to dictate precisely how your life's journey unfolds. You may uncover a renewed level of confidence in the ongoing process of being. Instead of struggling against difficulties or striving desperately for specific outcomes, you discover yourself simply flowing with whatever life graciously brings your way. This, by no means, suggests becoming inactive or neglecting your duties. You continue to act, make decisions, and pursue aims, but with a lighter touch, recognizing that your inner peace isn't tied to specific outward outcomes. This sense of release also encompasses your connections with others. You cherish your loved ones profoundly, yet you feel less compelled by their actions or decisions. You're able to provide encouragement without attempting to direct their paths. Your affection can be shown without an expectation of certain reactions. What's possibly most significant is the gradual letting go of your personal self-concept. The parts you've embodied, the accomplished expert, the dedicated caregiver, the valued individual in your community, begin to seem more like temporary guises than your true essence. You increasingly connect with the timeless core of your being, rather than your fleeting earthly persona. Such an inherent separation may bring a touch of sadness to you and those close to you. There might be a perception that you are receding from engagement with life precisely at a moment when others desire to cling more firmly. When we perceive this not as a personal slight, but as a spiritual indication, it allows us to move through this period of change with greater ease and poise. Should you find yourself feeling this kind of gentle separation, Embrace it inwardly while diligently fostering affectionate bonds with those around you. It is entirely possible to achieve spiritual liberation without withdrawing your physical presence or emotional openness. Indeed, this deepening sense of detachment gently guides you toward the ninth and concluding emblem, which Edgar Cayce described as the ultimate confirmation that a soul was poised for its journey beyond earthly bounds, a tranquility beyond comprehension. The ultimate and ninth indicator, as noted by Edgar Cayce, is an unyielding inner serenity, a profound, lasting calm that persists steadfastly, untouched by any outward conditions. Have you recently felt instances of deep calm, moments that seem to arise from a place far beneath your usual thoughts or feelings? An inherent conviction that your life is fundamentally aligned, even when not every aspect appears flawless. A deep knowing that everything is truly good in ways you might find difficult to articulate fully. This is not a fleeting sense of ease or a happiness tied to specific events. Instead, it's a deep repose within your spirit, aware that its journey here is drawing to a close. Cayce referred to this profound inner calm as the hallmark of spiritual fulfillment. It's a state of being that surfaces once a soul has mastered its significant teachings, mended its core hurts, achieved its fundamental objective, and made ready for passage into loftier dimensions. This tranquility frequently perplexes those who encounter it, particularly when their outer circumstances would normally evoke anxiety or apprehension. Perhaps you're confronting health issues, monetary struggles, or interpersonal complications. Still, beneath these layers, an unwavering conviction remains that all is progressing precisely as it's meant to. This serenity does not rely on having every challenge resolved or every inquiry addressed. A profound inner conviction emerges, affirming the significance of your soul's journey and purpose, recognizing each past event as developmental, and trusting that future occurrences will serve your highest good. Minor annoyances that once caused distress may lose their capacity to disrupt your tranquility. Congested roadways, impolite individuals, or disheartening reports, while such situations might remain unwelcome, fail to dislodge your core serenity. Should contemplations of your eventual departure surface, they no longer evoke the apprehension previously felt. Instead of dreading your exit from this existence, you may experience curiosity about what lies beyond. The transition starts to appear less as a conclusion and more as an entrance to the subsequent chapter of your spiritual odyssey. This profound peacefulness frequently extends its influence, touching all those in your vicinity. Others may observe a shift in your demeanor, noting you appear more composed and grounded. In moments of difficulty, they might gravitate towards you, perceiving within you a quality they themselves require. Yet, what's truly remarkable is how this profound serenity exists alongside a deep and active involvement in the world. It doesn't imply a detachment that leads to disinterest or indifference. Rather, you find yourself able to engage completely with life's experiences, all while anchored by an internal stillness that outward occurrences cannot disrupt. According to Cayce's teachings, this steadfast peace serves as the soul's signal, indicating its preparedness for what lies ahead. It's as if the soul has finished its earthly lessons and now feels completely ready for its next stage, a kind of spiritual graduation. This could manifest as continued benevolent service in a physical body, or perhaps a gentle transition into spiritual dimensions. Should you be experiencing this profound sense of peace, particularly when observed alongside the other indicators we've explored, it suggests your soul may be drawing close to a significant culmination. It's important to understand that this does not automatically signify an impending physical departure. Certain souls, having concluded their earthly journey of learning, may opt to stay within their physical form to assist others or to simply perceive and live life from their newly elevated state of awareness. Nevertheless, it truly signifies that a profound transformation is unfolding within your spiritual passage. You are nearing a kind of graduation, the culmination of one phase of your timeless journey and a preparation for whatever splendid adventure awaits you next. This newfound clarity reshapes everything. Having now grasped these 9 indications that Edgar Cayce pinpointed as signals of spiritual fulfillment, your entire interpretation of life's events will shift. Those sensations of inner unrest, the reordering of your priorities, those occurrences that once felt ambiguous or troubling, may actually be harbingers of the most exquisite metamorphosis your soul can experience. If you are discerning several of these markers within your personal experience, rest assured you are not straying. You are discovering your true direction. You aren't detaching from life. Instead, you're forging a deeper bond with the ultimate meaning of your earthly presence. Yet, here is what remains essential to comprehend. Interpreting these signals isn't about forecasting the end of your earthly lifespan. It's about grasping that your spirit unfolds on a distinct schedule compared to your physical form. And sometimes, souls complete their terrestrial learning well before their physical vessels stop animating. Certain individuals encounter all 9 indications and persist in their corporeal lives for numerous additional years, yet with a profoundly altered connection to being. They become wise guides in the most authentic meaning of the word. Spirits who have finished their personal instruction and are now present primarily to support the development and well-being of others. For other individuals, these signals manifest as a readiness for crossing into spiritual dimensions. Their spirit has concluded its terrestrial coursework and is prepared to advance to elevated planes of being. The essential point is not to ascertain your specific classification, but rather to respect the journey that is revealing itself within your experience. Should your spirit be nearing its culmination, the paramount action you can take is to embrace that progression instead of opposing it. This could involve dedicating additional moments to soulful spiritual activities, engaging in more profound discussions with those you cherish, settling unresolved emotional matters, and streamlining your existence to concentrate on genuine priorities. Perhaps it signifies accepting the transformations unfolding within you instead of opposing them, permitting yourself to lose enthusiasm for pursuits that no longer align with your spirit, and welcoming the inclination towards quiet reflection, the natural world, and a deeper spiritual bond. What is paramount, however, is acknowledging that if your essence is drawing near its culmination, you have achieved something truly extraordinary. You have absorbed wisdom that often eludes countless spirits over numerous incarnations. You have mended old hurts that extend across ancestral lines. You have cultivated an exceptional and valuable capacity for compassion, insight, and contribution. Should these words resonate profoundly with your inner self, I would be pleased to learn of your experience. I invite you to share in the comments section which of these 9 indicators resonate with your personal experience and how perceiving them as spiritual signals rather than mere challenges shifts your perspective. Your openness to contemplating these insights assists every individual within our collective in recognizing the sacred dimension within their own life's transitions. Should this journey of discovery be illuminating fresh understandings for you, please consider subscribing and enabling notifications, ensuring you don't miss our ongoing venture into these profound spiritual enigmas. Kindly share this recording with someone who might currently be navigating their own path towards spiritual culmination. Your act of sharing could well provide precisely the clarity they are seeking. Indeed, it is the very gift you arrive to bestow. As we now conclude our journey through these 9 profound signs, I wish to share with you the most vital wisdom Edgar Cayce revealed about souls approaching their earthly culmination. You did not arrive on this planet simply to learn and expand for your personal advantage alone. You came, in essence, as a precious gift for the world. Each insight you've gathered, every obstacle you've conquered, and every loving gesture you've extended, all of these have played a part in the mending and unfolding of collective human awareness. Should your spirit signal a sense of fulfillment, it indicates you have shared your unique gift. You have woven your distinctive note into the grand symphony of shared human experience. You have helped elevate the vibrational frequency of this planet simply by being here. The serenity you might be experiencing transcends mere individual contentment. It is recognition from the cosmos. The universe itself confirms that you have realized your inherent purpose, that you have contributed to the greater good in ways far more significant than you might comprehend. Regardless of whether your journey continues in physical form with broadened understanding or moves into spiritual dimensions, you can find solace in the certainty that your life has carried profound meaning and impact. The struggles you've persevered through were not without purpose. These experiences acted as refining flames, cultivating within your spirit both resilience and profound empathy. The affection you've extended transcended mere individual benevolence. It manifested as a restorative current, impacting innumerable existences in manners you may never entirely comprehend. The insight you've acquired represents more than just a cognitive grasp of information. It is, in fact, a spiritual endowment, becoming integrated into the shared human legacy, readily accessible to guide forthcoming spirits through their unique paths. Should you discern indicators of an impending spiritual culmination, acknowledge with reverence all that you have achieved. Commemorate the remarkable expedition your essence has undertaken. Place your confidence in the journey that is now unfolding. Regardless of whether it signifies an ongoing engagement in earthly duties or an advancement to more elevated dimensions. And should these indications not yet resonate with your present experience, permit them to act as an impetus for you to inhabit life with greater awareness, to embrace love with deeper intensity, and to contribute your service with fuller devotion. Allow them to serve as a gentle remembrance that your present difficulties and trials are meticulously sculpting you into the magnificent, insightful, and empathetic individual you are destined to evolve into. Your inner spirit comprehends its purpose. Place your faith in its inherent understanding. Respect the path it undertakes, and permit yourself to experience wonder at the flawless progression of an intention so grand that your earthly consciousness can scarcely perceive its full breadth and splendor. Guidance presents itself to those prepared to notice it. The inquiry remains: are you poised to acknowledge the divine essence of your personal spiritual voyage? The resolution to that query could transform not only your perception of what lies ahead, but also how you inhabit each cherished instant left within this remarkable odyssey of tangible being. The progression of your soul signifies no conclusion. Instead, it marks the genesis of something far more glorious than you are able to conceive.